Welcome, reading one. Ooh. What's so intense about this is I had it like that, and then I wanted to take it off because there was just so much intensity coming from your energy when I started putting it together. So, welcome, reading one, blessed first quarter moon. And I really love it when the first quarter moon falls on an energy like today's also August 1st. So, it's like it's a new month, it's, a moon cycle. It's also, wherever, sorry, that's my bed cracking. Whenever you watch this, they're timeless, of course, but in real time, we are in the Lionsgate portal. So there's just so much energy coming through that I was feeling for. And it's interesting because a bunch of thoughts came to my mind right before I started this. And then all of a sudden it's like they went away. So I know they'll bring them back when it's time. But I do feel like there is something going on with you guys, like missing something because first quarter moon energy is about taking action. And so when I put this together, I asked Spirit if they can give me a sign of like where we need to take action. And I wasn't sure if we're going to do a group reading or pick a reading. And it was really beautiful when the song that came on next was a meditation, and it was called Symmetry. And that was like, oh my gosh. And I knew right away. So this particular moon cycle, Spirit wants to show you where to take action to bring balance back into your life. And, some of you may feel like you're in balance, but there could be something that you're missing. I have to tell you right now, my throat chakra the candle is going nuts. I am far away from it, and there's like, it's not like the wind picked up or, you know what I mean? So this is really powerful. In fact, because it's the card is Spirit of Fire, I thought it was really interesting that they didn't actually want me to bring the candle like all the way in. But I see now why, because I feel like they're trying to show you like that the flames and the fires for your dreams and your hopes and your wants is still burning. It hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't gone away. It may have it may have been locked away in a box in your, emotional, or, you know what I mean? But there's something going on definitely where you're out of balance. So let me see what Spirit wants to do first, because like I said, I could go back to, do we want to go back to the channeling? Do we want to do channeling first? Okay, so we're going to read from the book first, and then anything that comes through will come through, but they want me to start with the book. Interesting. I just went to look for it and look at it's been dog-eared. So clearly this one has been in our tribe before. By the way, when I looked down, it was 336, which is really powerful because 3, 6, and 9 are really powerful this year. It's a 9-year. So that might mean something to somebody. It might be numbers you keep seeing. It could be a time you're seeing on the clock. It could be anything. I heard school. It could be something to do with school. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure you do. Okay, so the card meaning of Spirit of Fire is transformation. Take risks. Face your fears, break out of old patterns and conventions. Just because you've always done something in the past doesn't mean that you need to continue to do it in the future. Try something new. Change your routines and habits. Reach out in new directions. By the way, when I was reading that, I saw beach, not reach. So maybe some of you look at that. That's like a beach campfire. Maybe some of you are in like serious need of like something like that, like a beach campfire, because they didn't have me bring the candle in, but it totally reminds me of a campfire, and just the way that the sun is going down on the water, and it could be a lake, whatever. But I did hear beach. So some type of beach Not a river. I just heard not a river. It needs to be a large body of water. Like, let's just say you're in the UP or something, or like you're by the Great Lakes. Like, it might as well be an ocean, right? Like, I grew up in Chicago, and as a child, I was like, oh, I mean, I saw lakes and rivers, but the Lake Michigan was massive. I couldn't see across it. Even on a clear day, you couldn't really see anything, across it. There were some days where you can, in certain parts, like more like at the end of it, you can kind of see the other side, but it was a massive body of, or it still is a massive body of water. But they had beaches. Like, we used to go to the beach there. It felt like a beach to us, so whatever feels good to you. But I definitely feel like a beach fire is something that you need. Now, listen, I understand that, especially in the Northern Hemisphere in the United States, a lot of countries, I know England's been like having like, one of the biggest heat waves they've ever had, and like a real bona fide summer. It's so funny to see so many Brits that are like, oh my gosh, I always prayed for this kind of summer because we don't get it very often, and now I want it to go away. They're like, it rained today, I was so excited. I get it, right? But I do feel like there's some type of ceremony that needs to take place before the end of fall. So that gives us a lot of time, a lot of room, and spring for our Southern Hemisphere family. But I'm definitely feeling, and obviously our Southern Hemisphere family, you can go have that fire right now, if you can have a fire safely somewhere by the beach, then that's basically what I'm getting, and if not, then, reach out. Maybe somebody, maybe there are so many people who know people. We're all so connected now that it wouldn't be hard to just send something, out to friends and family, or out to, your tribe online or something, and just say, does anybody have any type of beachfront, whether it's like a lake or, and I'm hearing the reason why not a river is because they're like, the movie, like the river runs through it, a river runs through it. It's like the river is like constantly moving and going. I'm feeling like, no, you need to go somewhere where like the, whether it's the ocean, large waves crashing against, like that kind of energy, or you need just like the nice like waves like coming up on the shore on a nice lake. Obviously the cleaner and the clearer the better, but connecting to large bodies of water are really important to us. And interesting, they just gave me an interesting little bit. I don't know if this is going to mean anything to anybody, but I don't know. What was the name of it, Spirit? I've seen it so many times with Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, M. Night Shyamalan, where the aliens come and they find out that they're actually, water burns their skin. So I feel like, I know this is like such an extreme, but I feel like for some of you, maybe it's because some people in your life that always want to come with you or always want to tag along. I don't know who this is. It could be, I'm not even going to say. It's like, this could be for one person. It could be for several, don't make it your story if it's not. But I definitely saw that like this person like just does not like the beach, and you're like, well, I love the beach, and I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go by myself, and I want to go by myself, and and I feel like it's time for you to just like go and like unpack and let it be. I mean, the full moon in Aquarius is the day after the Lionsgate portal. If you can go somewhere magical in nature for the Lionsgate portal, and for that, I highly recommend it. But if you can't, if that's not your wheelhouse, then do what you can, even if it's just like a day trip. When I was living in Portland, Oregon, I didn't have a car. And I remember I was saying to somebody, yeah, I haven't been to the mountains yet because I was, new living there. And a lot of my friends didn't have cars, or if they did, like, they weren't like adventure, like, we just never really did a lot of big adventures. So long story short, everyone kept telling me I should go up to, Sandy, and go up to Mount Hood and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, I don't have a car. And they're like, you could take a bus. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they have buses. And it was, I'm not going to lie, I was not looking forward to it. But what I did was I got my headphones. I made sure that my phone was charged. I made sure I brought my charger in case I was somewhere and I could charge my phone again. and I made sure that I had enough water and snacks, stuff that I eat because I'm vegan and I have all these like, food things I don't eat. So I just packed myself, all this stuff the night before. I got ready. I had my outfit all ready, got up early, and I took a train and a bus, and you know what I mean? Like I just like took, or no, I don't think I took a train that time. The first time I went, I just took a bus. And actually I was really lucky at that time. I didn't feel like I was lucky at that time because of where I lived, but I lived at like 122nd and Division, which is like, it's not the most desirable place to live in, on the outskirts of Portland. But what was so cool about it was that the bus was not that, it was like right, like 2 blocks from my house, which is rad. And I had to take one bus to like a terminal, and I had to switch buses. And honestly, I'll say I didn't look forward to it, but what was cool about it was I had everything that I needed, and I brought a backpack, and it ended up being one of the best days I had had at that point, like since I had lived there. It was a really long day, and I knew I had to be very mindful because if I missed a bus, I was screwed because I didn't have enough money where I could just like go stay at a hotel or whatever. But I left at like, I think 8 in the morning, and I got back at like 8 at night. And it was like a long 12-hour day, but it was awesome. And the bus ride was kind of cool because the bus by my house took me to the exchange, and then that bus took me up to the mountain. And it wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be either. I bought like a day pass, like for the whole day, like there and back for both buses. I think I spent like $20 max, and it was so worth it. And I just walked around and, jumped on buses, and I went up to that little town and just had a super fun day of shopping, and went and, got some food, and I got to get closer up to the mountain. And it was just a really cool experience. And I'm sharing this with you because I just it was 11:56, which is also 11:11, because, sometimes you just need to get away. And if you give yourself too many excuses, you won't do it. A lot of people, especially on this channel, are empaths and sensitives. And, it was so difficult for me to take the bus. I will say this, cannabis is legal where I live. And I took my little one hitter, like my little bat, looks like a cigarette. I took that, and I had what they call like a dugout, and I put like weed in there, and I had my little bat. So that helped me a lot, so, maybe you're somebody who would do well with like, taking a tincture, or, even like microdosing and shrooms. It's like, and having a more magical experience and seeing things with your third eye instead of being like tucked in that third dimensional energy. I actually was also concerned because people always seem to want to talk to me on the bus. I'm just like a bright light, and so are you. And so I was concerned about that. But before I got on the bus, I asked Archangel Michael to protect me and to watch over me, and to only bring people my way that were for my greatest and highest good, and that could help me. And it was just a magical day. I asked Spirit and the angels for help, and they brought it to me. It was so beautiful. It was so magical. And so I'm telling you this inspirational story so that it'll inspire you to do something like that too. Don't use this or that as an excuse. If you really want something, you'll find a way to make it work for you. Now, however, there are certain instances, or, some people, let's put it this way. In my experience, I've been told by so many like teachers, shamans, whatever you want to call them, mediums, so many, insert label here. And they all said I was one of the most powerful, meaning sensitive empaths they'd ever met. And they'd worked with empaths for years. And they're like, wow, you're like, and I'm like, because I'm a telepathic medium and I'm an empath. So, some empaths, they just feel things. They don't hear things or see things or whatever, but it can be a struggle. But it also strengthened me to do things like that. Now, let's be honest. Right now, I have a bus stop literally outside of my house. Like, it's like I can almost throw a rock at it. But I don't want to. Like, I feel this really weird energy, like not to do it, and not weird good, but it makes sense because like that bus ride was a whole different story. the only people that were on that bus were people who were going to work or going, like, I did talk to a few people because I couldn't believe how empty the bus was. I was so excited. The first bus wasn't because it was, in Portland and people were going to work and whatever. But the second bus going up to the mountain, it was like a Tuesday. Tuesday in my experience seems to be the best day. So if you don't work or if you can make your own schedule, try not to work on Tuesday. There's not a lot of people out. The only thing I have found though is that a lot of people that have a schedule like I do like to do their laundry on Tuesday. So I found Tuesday's actually not the best day to do laundry, but everything else seems to be like pretty awesome of like kind of separating, and I feel like this message is for more than one person. I feel like you're struggling really hard with the energy out there right now, and Spirit's trying to help you burn that away with using the spirit of fire. But you can also use the spirit of fire with energy, meaning like calling on the fire energy to like burn that away. But yeah, so it ended up just being a really cool experience. So I highly recommend that you step out of your comfort zone, but here, what I was going to say, where I live, unfortunately, I'm on a really busy freeway and the bus is super unpredictable, especially this time of year with like tourists. It's like, and we have a lot of, I just say transient, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just, the smells sometimes can be really hard for me. So like when I get on a bus, it's like most of the people that are on there, in my experience, aren't super grounded. And I understand, like their lifestyle and stuff. So I feel like this is really for somebody. I don't know who this message is for, 1613, but I'm just hearing like, work with what you have, but don't try and work against like certain things. And using your pendulum can really help too, saying like, would this be a good week for me to do that? Would this weekend, with this day, should I go more than one day? Sitting with spirit. If you can sit with spirit and clear your mind and get the direct answer, all more power to you. But I feel like you're scrambling a lot in your energy. I felt it when I started the reading. So I feel like using a pendulum would be very helpful for you. So the next message is, reach out in new directions. The thunderbird is rising in you. Out of the ashes come new growth and new beginnings. Your native spirit wants you to know, in native cultures, fire was thought to be a gift from the creator that carried the power of renewal. Fire can maintain life and it can destroy it. It is the warmth of the tribal fire, but it's also the thundering lightning bolt cast down from the sky. It can purify and transform, and it can annihilate. Fire represents your life force, the spark of life within you, and also the pure white light within you. The spirit of fire invites you to take some risks and face your fears. We often are reacting to situations because of preconditioned responses based on our self-generating definition of self. Did you hear all that? That was very much aligned with my stories. Like, even if it's not about the bus or whatever, it's about doing things like stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing something that, is going to spark and ignite the magic and the passion and the fire within you. So the spirit of fire invites you to take some risk and face your fears. We often are reacting to situations because of preconditioned responses based on our self-generating definition of self. Every time you change an old habit, even changing to a different breakfast food, it helps you begin to step out of a limiting definition of self. Purification by fire creates transformation. Take care to keep your energy in balance. Fire that burns too brightly burns out, but a fire that's left to smolder dies. Ooh, that's why, look, they got that like flame going, that flicker to show you it's still there. And it's interesting, when they said that about breakfast, I just watched this guy, I don't know what his story is, but he was like really jacked up, and like obviously like a fit professional or whatever. I didn't agree with some of the things he said, because I was like, dude, you're like a, guy working out. I don't think this is for everybody, but just because he was like so big and muscular, and I used to, I almost became I was a personal trainer, but I almost got certified. And long story short, like, I know what it takes to look like that. And I was like, not every person like, would that work for? You know, I'm like, but the one thing they did say was, I thought it was really interesting, is they were saying the same thing. They're like, you know, do you have this for breakfast? And they showed 2 pieces of toast and 2 eggs. And he's like, you're kind of defeating the purpose. He's like, the bread's gonna, you know, spike your blood sugar. And he was talking about, you know, how the eggs are good, but it's not enough protein to overtake the carbs. And he's like, if you really are looking to have like protein in your diet, he's like, I would make 6 eggs. And I was like, geez, that's a lot of food. You know, he's like 6 eggs scrambled with some fruit, you know, he's like, because that'll really give you your body that jolt of protein. I thought that was interesting. And then he also showed, like, do you have you know, some type of oatmeal or porridge or something like that, you know, for breakfast with fruit or, you know, whatever on it. He's like, another one, it's heavy carbs. You think that it's going to take you through the day. He's like, that's not super good for you. He's like, but this high protein yogurt with fruit would be better. So, you know, I don't know if I 100% believe it, because everybody's body's different, but do you hear what I'm saying? Like, and I thought that's so true, because the reason why it really resonated with me was that I have gone that route with all of those foods for breakfast. And I have found that when I was not eating a lot of carbs for breakfast, I felt better. I actually like to have carbs more like towards the middle of the day. And, you know, that's because I had stuff to do. You know, if you were somebody who works in an office, probably not, right? Because if you just eat carbs at your desk, then you're gonna, like, same thing, like your blood sugar is gonna spike and whatever. But be mindful, do the research, see what works for you. I have to tell you this, in my experience, out of all the fad diets in my 50 plus years that I've experienced, and the ones that I knew about before I was even born that were, you know, became the fad diet thing, you know, even from like the turn of the century of like the 1900s and like tapeworms and crazy shit. And I'm like, people like actually ate worms to like make them skinny. I mean, just fucking weird shit. But the one that has been so true for me was the blood type diet. I'm A positive, and vegan is like really good for A positive blood type. And it really is. Like, I've tried all these different things. I've tried to be vegetarian. Every once in a while I'll crave like some dairy or something like that. But I just feel like when we know more about ourselves, then we can make the positive changes and habits to our lives. Like, so what I feel for you guys, drink some water. Ooh, use your throat chakra. Well, that's been coming up a lot in our readings. So what I'm feeling from Spirit is that it's time to have at least one thing major change in your daily routine. And it's going to be different for all of you. I just got the chills all over my body. It's going to be different for all of you. I saw something where this guy was talking about how he watched something about that, and he changed his way to go to work. He had always taken the way, because when he went for the interview, he did, you know, Google Maps or whatever, right? He did the maps, and it took the best, fastest way to get there. He always took that way. After he was comfortable with his job, and actually not not comfortable, happy, but after he was comfortable with his job, 2302. That could be, if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. But I put out numbers, it could be anything, so take it for what it aligns with your story. But long story short, he took a different way that he had never taken before. That was a longer way, but since he knew the job and he knew how to get there, you know, blah, 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 kind of thing, you know, and he could be a few minutes late, he just was like, I'm going to try this way. He fell in love with it. It was more scenic. It was more beautiful. And he said it was absolutely positively worth the time and energy to get up a little bit earlier to take that route. And he found that it was actually, even though it was a little bit longer, and it wasn't much, I think he said like 10, 15 minutes. But he said the cool thing about it was that there wasn't a lot of traffic. So, you know what I mean? It's like just taking a more scenic, more beautiful way. Alder and I, we do that. Like, there's this, you know, when we want to go to our store, there's like, we can go straight through town, and we can get there in like 15 minutes, or we can take kind of the outskirt ways, which is more like 20-25 minutes, but it's beautiful and it goes along the water, like, you know what I mean? So when we're going, sometimes I'll say, you know, depending on like his schedule, I'll be like, can we take the water away, you know? And he's like, yeah, you know? So it's like all those little things add up to our happiness. And I feel like to bring the balance back, there's something inside of you, this flicker, this flame that's like screaming to be heard, that's screaming to be seen. And I feel like it's going to be different for each one of you, but I feel like as I'm saying this, you know what Spirit's talking about. So by doing these changes, it helps you to begin to step out of a limiting definition of yourself. Purification by fire creates transformation. Take care to keep your energy in balance. Fire that burns too brightly burns out, but a fire that's left to smolder dies. Okay, do you hear that? They wanted you to hear that again, because if you just, you know what I mean? Like your dreams will just die away if you don't do anything about them. So it says the journey is when you first awaken in the morning. Now this is your homework, okay? Your mission, should you choose to accept it. When you first awaken in the morning, focus on the emerging sunlight. Imagine that you are breathing in that light. Gaze unblinkingly into a candle flame and focus your awareness on the inner flame within you. By doing this, you're activating the spirit of fire that dwells within you and around you. Imagine yourself to be a single candle flame, a campfire, a forest fire, electricity, lightning, the sun, and the stars. Affirm this. May the light of the sun illuminate my heart, that my heart may illuminate the world. Also, 2302 was 7, and they brought my eyes down to, it was on page 97 that the journey started, which is also the number 7. And 7's all about cycles and new, like, endings and new beginnings. And I feel like that's where you are right now. So I'm going to put this here so you can get a screenshot of it. So that's your affirmation. May the light of the sun illuminate my heart, that my heart may illuminate the world. And look at that candlelight going in the back there. All right, let's see if we have any more messages for reading 1, Spirit. Do we have any more messages for reading 1? Is there any more messages for reading 1? I feel like Spirit's like, you know what to do. You know, and not only do you know what to do, but Spirit's saying, you know how to do it. It's just that some of it scares you. Some of the journey is scaring you. And I get it, you know. Fear, the irony is, fear, Spirit just had me create this thing, and I'll post a shorts of it in the next 24 hours so you can see it. But I'm trying to remember exactly what the acronym was. I saw it somewhere, and then Spirit had me create my own. Fear. It's like they won't even show it to me. So you're meant to look out for it. And if they have me do, I will put a link to it in the description box so you can check it out. But it's really cool. And I feel like they don't want me. It's like it went blank. It went blank. I actually was just looking at it yesterday because I made it some time ago, and I was like, oh, we never posted that. I'm like, that's such a good one. Now look at it. So it's for you guys. So make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. All of my information is in the description box. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to contribute anything to the work that I do in this channel, it is never ever anticipated, but always excitedly wonderful when it happens. And also, Spirit had me change some things up on my wish list. They actually had me put in some things that I actually kind of need, or things that they think I need, I guess. So be sure to check out the Amazon wish list. And then I have my Venmo. I don't have an international one right now. I am working on a few things though. Also, for those of you who are fans of Bubba, Bubba's back. Yesterday was 6 month. It was the 6-month anniversary that Bubba passed. And we love our sweet Bubba the Great. And she's been telling me for weeks that she wanted me to bring her channel back, but I wasn't sure how. Let's put it this way. I thought she wanted me to do it today because today is like to the day it was 6 months ago that she died. She died on a Friday, but she died on January 31st, 2025. So yesterday was July 31st, 2025. And they're also 13 backwards. So I was like, of course, and 7 in the cycle. So I wanted to share that with you. So I don't have her link on this channel anymore, but I will put a link in the description box if you want to check it out. The funny thing is she had me like, we totally redid the channel. I redid the description. I put a picture of me and her in there, and she wanted, it's really cute. But this is how I know it was meant to be, because you guys, I put out one video. I thought it was just gonna be one video. I mean, obviously she's gone, so I can't take new pictures and video, right? And it was so interesting because they had me create 2 new ones, and the one I put out, and then the second one, I don't know how it happened, but it was just like on public, and I didn't do that. And so I don't know, but Papa did. And so before I knew it, we posted like 2 videos right out the gate, and I started to get like kind of concerned, because I'm like, oh, Papa, we don't have that many to make, dude. I'm like, I don't have, because I have her on SD cards and stuff, but like, would I have like to like my whatever? So you're going to be seeing videos again of her on the Magical Medium. You're going to be seeing videos again of her on the Lowe's Labyrinth and on Baba the Great. But Baba the Great's going to be mainly just her. But it's dark. It's pretty dark as fuck. We're going to have a lot of dark humor, but also like, she's like, I'm not done. She's like, I'm not done entertaining, and I'm not done passing on my pearls of wisdom. So check out her channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share as well. So anyway, in 2 videos as of this morning, I mean, I haven't looked at it in a few hours, but the first video I put out got over 1,000 views, and the second video, the one that was the quote unquote accident, had over 2,000 views. I'm like, holy shit. So Baba is like kind of like bringing more people to our tribe, like from the other side, like through her avatar when she was alive in that avatar. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing. So a lot of cool shit's gonna happen, and so stay tuned, stay positive, stay in your glow, and your, and believe in yourself, because Spirit and I believe in you. Oh, now look down, it was 3113. Oh, you witchy, beautiful souls. Remember who you are, and don't be concerned about what others think of you. Fear is a man-made construct. So look out for that shorts, okay? You can't miss it because it says fear on there. So until next time, I love you so much. And also remember that prayer is free. Prayer is free. It's about the exchange of energy for you and me. When we do these readings and participate, every reading I watch, I pray for that person. And in fact, every time I try to go give money to other readers, Spirit's like, no, just give them a good prayer. It's all good. I'm like, okay. So whatever is in your wheelhouse, okay? I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 2. First off, I just want to say that at least one of you has a very strong connection to the Native American culture. When I was pulling this reading together, I was so excited to work with this deck because we don't work with it all the time, and it's because it's beautiful. Indigenous medicine is Native American, and they call it medicine, spirit medicine. On the planet, a lot of people say spirit work, light workers, but in the Native American culture and the way they would speak from their tongue, obviously I don't know their languages, but it would be a medicine healer, a medicine woman, a medicine man, because we're just medicine bringers. That's all we are. We're just, mirrors helping people figure out who and what they are, what their next step is, where they're going, like all that good stuff. I really hope you like your altar, because I had so much fun building it with Spirit, and I felt cozy. Like I want to go in there, like I want to go into that little hut, and it's like, it looks like you're in the woods. But I feel like for some of you, it's time to do some solo work. So welcome. And today in real time, it's August 1st. So welcome August. Happy birthday to our August people. And also that it is the first quarter moon, which is super cool, because first quarter moon energy is about taking action. And when I asked Spirit where we needed to take action for the tribe in this first quarter moon energy, in this Leo moon, they gave me the word symmetry. And they said, this is where we need to take action to bring balance back into our lives. So I feel like if you found yourself here, there must be some part of you that's feeling 70-30, 60-40, 20-80, 90-10, I don't know, but definitely not half and half, right? Like you're not feeling balanced, you're not feeling 50-50, like you're not feeling like even keel. So let's get to the bottom of it. So interesting that the spirit, I went to open the book and the spirit of water came out. So I'm going to ask Spirit if they want me to read anything from the book, or if it's something they want me to take a picture of and put it in the community section. Always check out the community section, the post section. It's basically the same. But the community section, you're allowed to, if you are a subscriber, you are allowed to post things. So if you see something you like, or a movie, or a meditation, or you are a spirit worker and you want to link your channel, we're all about helping and supporting each other here. So welcome back to those of you who keep coming back, and welcome to those of you who are new here. I apologize for the traffic. It's midday and the summer and windows are open and I live off a busy freeway. Okay, so Spirit, do we want to read anything from the spirit of water? Okay, do we want to take pictures of it and put it in the community section for somebody else? Okay, it just opened there. So it could be maybe for some of you in reading 1, it was connected to healing through water. So if you were drawn to reading 1, then I highly suggest you go and check that out. Okay, I feel like that's what they were trying to say because the imagery is kind of similar. So sweat lodge, sweat lodge. Okay, here we go. Cleanse yourself, body, mind, and soul. Purify, clutter clear. Let go of objects and relationships that no longer serve you. Purify your body, go within, meditate, talk to the Creator, and give thanks. Your native spirit wants you to know that sweat lodges are small dome structures covered with skins, blankets, or mud in which very hot stones are placed in the center. Water is poured over the stones so that, there's another thing of water again. Water is poured over the stones so that hot steam arises from the rocks. Thus, the sweat lodge with its hot steam is used for purification ceremonies as well as a place to commune with the divine. This card chose you to tell you that it's time to clear out the clutter in your life. Sometimes clutter can be things in your closet that you don't love or use, but sometimes clutter can be outmoded relationships or habits that no longer serve you. Also, reading 1, we spoke about habits. That's interesting. Again, now if you weren't drawn to it, don't feel like you're forced, but just some food for thought. And just to let you know that if you were looking at 1, ding, 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 go check that out too. Okay, so the clearer your inner and outer space becomes, the easier it will be to hear the sweet messages from your soul. The journey of this card is sometimes this card chooses you when it's time to do some physical detoxification. Fast for a day, drink green juices, clear out some clutter. Love it, use it, or get rid of it. And listen to that loud truck going by. It's like taking that crap and that clutter, that shadow, darkness energy with it. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit. So love it. Your motto is love it, use it, or get rid of it. Even one small item can make a difference. You know, when I was going through, you know, I was raised in an energy where, you know, you wanted something from somebody. Oh, did grandma leave me anything? Did so-and-so leave me anything? I want to remember them. I want their picture. But sometimes that can be not so good. Meaning like when I was going through detoxifying my world, one of the things I knew I was going to have to let go of was a lot of my friends and family. I didn't know in the end that it would have to be all of them. And for me, it wasn't like an all or nothing, even though I can be like that. It was more like I really tried. 3749, which is also 37 is 10 and 1, like completion or new beginnings. And 39 is the number 12, which is the number 3. So if that means anything to anybody. So what I'm saying is that, I mean, I went to the point where like, I couldn't keep pictures around. I couldn't keep, you know, things that people gave me. One of the hardest things that I had letting go of was a blouse that my mother loved. And I remembered it. And I remembered her in it and how beautiful and magical she looked in it. But she kept it for years and years because she's like, someday I'm going to get back into that shirt. So when she and my stepdad were retiring, my mom and my aunt and I went through her closet. It was actually one of the coolest. If I knew then what I know now, I may have even like had more conversations with them, right? But I didn't even know in that moment that was going to be the last time that I had something that special with them. But I'm glad to cherish it. But what I realized was everything that my mom like was trying to get rid of in her closet, if she wanted it but didn't want to get rid of, she like gave it to me. And what started as a really small pile, and I was like, oh, I don't have room for this, I live in a studio, blah, blah, blah. And at that time I had like 55 vintage coats. I'm like, I don't need anything else, Mom. I lived in this magical vintage high-rise in Chicago, and I had 3 walk-in closets because it was built as a very luxurious hotel for the World Fair in Chicago, like, you know, many moons ago. So it was built for people who were traveling, rich people. It had built-ins for shoes and all that. So my mom's like, you've got plenty of room. I'm like, just because I have that room doesn't mean I want to fill it. I'm like, it's pretty full now, you know. And she's like, you'll wear it. And so I would try on all these clothes, and my mom and my aunt were like, look at how beautiful you look. Look at it. And even though I didn't love it, I took it. So when I was clearing out my closets, one of the last things I did was, one of my dearest friends came over, and she had a pop-up shop for vintage clothes. And I said, I have a bunch of stuff I want to give you. And she's like, oh my gosh. And even she was like, I don't know if I can afford, like, this is really good stuff. And I'm like, dude, just take it. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I go, a lot of it was like my mom's. So, I mean, I didn't even pay for this, you know. And it was interesting because I was going through some pictures, and I took pictures of her in them. And I have pictures of my friend in my mom's shirt, my sweet sister, Miss Bay, and I'm like, okay with that, you know. But I almost even got rid of the picture because I was like, do I need that? I'm like, yeah, but that's my friend. Like, she's gonna be my friend forever. And I'm glad that we took those pictures, because now it's like, because I did the same thing, but I knew she was gonna move them on, you know. But I was like, why am I dragging these things around? I was like, this is crazy. And at that point, I dragged it, all this stuff from my mom's stuff that she couldn't get rid of. I was dragging it. I had dragged it through 3 fucking states. I'm like, when is enough is enough? 4120. So, you know, 41, it could be an age for you guys. But also, if you add it together, it's 5. And 5s are about change and transformation. And reading 1 was about transformation as well. So I feel like this is what they're trying to help us to get back into balance. It's just letting go of this shit that's not our shit. You know, especially if you're carrying around other shit, emotional baggage. You know, I posted a shorts recently. Check out the shorts. There's some real good ones in there. If they call me to, I'll put a link below. But it was so, it's like one of those moments that like you can read something 100 times, but then you see it and you're like, oh my gosh. So basically this woman made a shorts about how she's like, little did I know when I fell in love with this person that, you know, their trauma, their childhood trauma would become my trauma too, right? Because they're dealing with this person and they love them. And I was like, wow, it was really profound. And they said it in a much more profound way than I'm saying it. But that's what I'm saying. We carry each other's emotional baggage, you know. So sweat lodges are really cool because, you know, they help us like sweat it out. And maybe for some of you, there's these heat waves going on in a lot of places in the Northern Hemisphere right now. You know, maybe it's time, you know, obviously safely. I don't want you to die, you know, of, you know, heat exhaustion or anything. But you may want to work with the heat energy, like just sweating it out. You know, maybe sitting in a room or sitting, you know, in a place, and maybe put a timer or an alarm on or something. And if you start to feel tired or woozy, open the fucking windows or go outside or go in the air conditioning or whatever. But don't do it right away, because you could also shock your system if you go from really hot to really cold. But maybe have water nearby to just throw on you, not cold water. Although that could be good for the vagus nerve. I mean, do what works for you. And like so many things are coming through because there's so many of you, right? So you guys like watch these readings and it's like whatever works for you. And I don't know where you'll be, but this is a time for you to really like look at who you are and 4330 and what you came here to be. I feel like you guys, I was wondering who it was going to be for, but I felt like there's going to be at least one pile that's going to have more than one card, and I feel like it might be for you guys. Let me see if we have any more messages. I feel like it's pretty clear, you know, because I'm sure each of you got like a ding, you know, because if you're not sure, whatever came up for you during this reading when we were speaking of, you know, certain things, that's where you need to find balance. And a lot of times we'll ignore that. We'll ignore that voice. We'll ignore that sign. You did get another card though. Ooh, here we go. It's time to get grounded. Grandmother Earth. Grandmother Earth is speaking to you. Grandmother Earth. How beautiful. Oh, that's so pretty. Grandmother Earth. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, it's I don't know if it's you live in cities, whatever. Like, I know tomorrow, like, I had to finally just, like, beg my partner. I was just like, and not in, like, a crazy way, but I was just like, hey, I'm like, I'll sit with Spirit. I'm like, but can we please? I'm like, I have got to get out of here. I'm like, I'm going nutty fucking cuckoo. I was like, I've got to get out of here. I'm by a freeway in the summer, and you know, I have to have my windows open. And I said before, I go, either you get me an air conditioner, like a good one, like an eco-friendly one, which I really hate air conditioners, but I was just like, I either need to like close the whatever. So the other day I said, okay, well, we're months into summer and I still haven't had an adventure. And all I've asked, I even said to him, like, you can drop me off somewhere. I don't fucking care. Like, you don't even have to hang out with me. I'm like, you can drop me off to go camping. I'm like, I'll be fine. I'm like, Spirit will take care of me, you know? But maybe it's the same for you. We spoke about this in reading 1, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But, you know, maybe it's time for you to, like, get into the mountains or, you know, find a way to get there. And I spoke about that in reading 1, like how when I really wanted to get to this mountain, like, I did everything and I took a bus and saved my money for it. And I was like, I need to take care of myself. It's so powerful. So to my city people, or those of you who are in suburbs and, you know, you need like a deep Grandmother Earth energy hug. I'm hearing a big hug. I actually was really stoked because I have a feeling that there is a cool camping trip coming to me. I don't know how it's going to come, but I'm just feeling this very interesting energy around that. So anyway, let's read what Grandmother Earth has to say. Also, Talking Stick just came, was when I opened the book, and the first line says, speak your truth. The soul loves the truth. Communicate from your heart and share your reality without hesitation. Be willing to stand before the crowd and share from your center. This isn't the time to be shy and hesitant. It's a time to heal through communication. You have the gift of a true leader through the way you communicate with others. Okay, so that's a little sidebar. I don't know who that's for, but that was for somebody. Take it as it resonates. So Grandmother Earth says, stop and take measure of your life. Assess who you are and where you are. Get grounded. Make plans for the future, but don't act on those plans until you are ready and feel secure and stepping forward. There's a profound source of strength and power within you, and it's expanding now. Put your roots down. This is the time of preparation and going deeper. Your native spirit wants you to know that Grandmother Earth provides the trees, plants, flowers, rivers, streams, oceans, mountains, and valleys, and supports us all with her bounty. She's stable and strong in her devotion to us. You are supported and loved, even if you're not always sure of it. Strength is growing within you. Don't rush. Slow down. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. Take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Security and protection surround you. You are safe. If you're thinking of making secure financial investments and receive this card, it's telling you that this is a good time to do so. But it's not a time to take risks with your money. Also, in real time, we are in Mercury retrograde. In real time, it's August 1st, 2025, first quarter moon, taking action, right? So this is great. So if you're looking for the answers, but listen, Mercury isn't going direct until August 11th. During retrograde season isn't the best time to make moves or make big, you know, whatever, sign contracts, especially in Mercury retrograde, things that, you know, Mercury deals with communication. So those kind of things and traveling, So it could be something that they want you to put it into, but look at your chart, see what's going on. They want us to get more serious about our birth chart and what's going on and paying attention to astrology and how it can be for us. They don't want us to live in some like, oh my gosh, what does astrology say today? Okay, I'm going to stay under the covers. It's not about that. It's about just having like knowledge is power, right? And they're just going to leave it at that. They're like, we're going to leave a pin in that. So, Mother Earth is stable and strong in her devotion to us. You are supported and loved even if you're not always sure of it. Strength is growing within you. Don't rush. Slow down. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. We said that earlier about endings and new beginnings. And that's how the balance is going to come back into play too. So take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Security and protection do surround you. You are safe. But just remember to take heed of what's going on in the energy around you. The journey is to deepen your connection to Grandmother Earth and bring security in all forms into your life. Walk barefoot on the earth. Place your hands in the earth or make investments. Imagine the strengthening, grounding energy of the earth filling you and your life. So, you know, they're also saying that the investment isn't always a monetary one. Maybe it's about, you know, taking better care of your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, overall health. You know, I was thinking today about something that's been going on, and I realized, like, you know, when I've been in reading 1 and reading 2, I get stuff too, right? Like I get things that come through as well. So, you know, listen when Spirit speaks, because they're sending us little pearls all the time. But if we're in the and that kind of energy, oh my gosh, summer's almost over, it's August 1st, oh, the kids have to go back to school, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, I can feel that. I'm sure you guys can feel it too. It's so overwhelming. Even one of my friends, I was like, hey, I'm like, let's, you know, catch up on a call and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, how about in like the end of August, when, you know, the kids are back in school. And I was just like, wow, you know, I was like, but I get it. You know what I mean? I'm not a parent, but I get it because I know how I feel and I know how the energy feels right now. So, you know, self-care September has always been a favorite of mine. I feel like we have these months where it's like, and I felt like, you know, we tend to go in these really cool energies, kind of like a month on, a month off, a month on, a month off. If you ever look, especially with like holidays and stuff, it's kind of interesting how they kind of weave in and out like that, right? You know, especially in the Northern Hemisphere in America, it's like we have Memorial Day, the end of May, and then, you know, nothing for June, and the beginning of July, we have 4th of July, then really nothing for August till we get to like Labor Day, the beginning of September. And it's like these, you know, these times to like, it's almost like they were created to remind us to like take a break, even though obviously they have more meaning than just that. 51 when I looked up too, which is 6 which is also 12 and the number 3. So 3 may be significant for you guys. Also, my eye keeps going to the moonstone under Grandmother Earth, and if you see it, it kind of looks like a whale. There's like a black form of some type of earth in that moonstone, but it kind of looks like a whale. So for some of you, it's going to be water energy, and for some of you, it's about being in the mountains, and for some of you, it's for both. You know, and I feel like the sweat lodge is also giving me like at the beginning, I got a total tent vibe. Like I got a vibe that it's like time to like go into nature, and you can make it a sweat lodge without, you know, obviously don't set a fire in there, you know, but you could actually, you know, heat up some stones when it's safe to have a fire. I know a lot of places the fire ban is still in effect right now because, you know, that time of year and things are dry, but when it's safe to do so, you could actually make a type of sweat lodge in your tent. Just do it really carefully and safely, but just do it with hot water, you know, just boil some hot water, you know, and maybe throw stuff in there like lavender and cedar and sage and or essential oils or things like that, and then like go into your tent, you know, like obviously make sure it's all safe, be careful, you know, make sure you put down like sturdy things to put it on so things don't tip over, but like a nice pot of, you know, water. You can even take a blanket and give yourself like a facial in there, you know what I mean? Like, and or just let it be like really hot and zip up the tent, get it all prepared and ready to go, and then bring the water in, keep the lid on, get yourself zipped up in there and bring the lid off, and then like, and let that energy like heal you, just like a small little special healing. There's just so many things you can do. I know for myself on Craigslist, I see all the time free tents. I mean, obviously I live, you know, in the Pacific Northwest where people are, you know, coming and going all the time and whatever. But there are a lot of people that buy tents, and then like they start doing like the fall cleaning, right? Like they're putting things away for the summer, and they're like, we never even use that tent. Let's get rid of it. But I see like REI tents for like $40. But use your pendulum, because I have noticed that, you know, when you buy things like that from somebody, you have to remember that that absorbs energy, that canvas. So either get a tent that you can, you know, wash and submerge, you know, in like some vinegar and water and things like that, to cleanse the energy, or you can set it outside open for a long time and, you know, let it air out. But it can make a huge difference. It can make a huge difference. When we bought our one tent, I kept wanting these tents and Spirit would say no, and then I would get this like icky smell, and I was like, oh, that's why, you know, because it has a mildew smell, or, you know, somebody didn't wrap up the tent well and now it has mold, and, you know, and I'm super sensitive to that. But then finally, Alder was like, years ago, he was like, I just want to go camping for my birthday. And so I went on Craigslist, and this guy was retired and his wife had passed away, and he's like, he goes, I think we literally used that tent like once. And I asked Spirit if we should buy it, and they said yes, and we ended up getting for like $100. We got a tent, a brand new Coleman, you know, propane stove, and we got hundreds of dollars worth of stuff for like $100, and the tent had no smell to it, like nothing. It didn't even have a brand new smell. They were so clean. When we got to his house and went in the garage, everything was like almost like labeled. I'm like, oh, I love these people. These are my people. I'm like, these are the people, you know? So, you know, you never know. I mean, we got a steal of a deal. I mean, so, and I say that because I know some of our tribe members, I hear from you guys, you know, I'm struggling, whatever. And also put into your wheelhouse that you're a millionaire, that you're rich, that you have money, that everything comes to you exactly when it's meant to. Keep saying these things to yourself so that they do, and so that they will. Keep putting it out into the universe, okay? Let me see, Spirit. Do we have any more messages for reading too before we move forward? Okay, you guys, those are your messages. And for those of you who don't know, Baba the Great's channel has returned. Yesterday was officially 6 months since she's crossed over, and we revived her channel, and we've made some changes, and it's really fun and it's really cool, and I'm really looking forward to what's going to come through, because Baba said she's not done entertaining and she's not done giving advice. And I have so many pictures of her. You know what's really interesting is I was trying to clean out my phone, and I had like 30. She loved photo shoots. She loved it. She knew how beautiful she was. I mean, she chose her avatar, right? And for those of you who don't know, Baba the Great was a Maine Coon, and she was with me for 13 years, and she's a black and white tuxedo Maine Coon with yellow green eyes, and magical creature. So it took me a while, and even when I was like putting her channel together, I thought it was good, but man, I had a few breakdowns yesterday. It was pretty rough. But long story short, there's going to be really cool things on her channel. I can kind of see certain things, but I encourage you to follow the link in the description box, and give her a like and subscribe. Watch her new videos. We put out 2 yesterday, and it's kind of cool too, because they had me leave in the video that I made where I said how she crossed over, and then in the description box I explained like what happened and like why her channel was revived. And I know a lot of you really loved Baba and her videos, so I'll be showing more videos on this channel and Lula's Labyrinth, but they're not going to have me put a link to her channel just yet. It's like our channel kind of. They had me put a picture. It's like the best picture Baba and I ever took together. We both look gorgeous. Like we look hot, like we look gorgeous. It was when, I mean, I don't know how old we were, but I was in my 40s and I'm in my 50s now, and she was more of a young, hot goddess too. So it's a great picture of us. And anyway, so when Spirit had me put that picture there, I was just like, we're going to have a lot of fun over there. So make sure to like and subscribe for that channel. Make sure to share those videos and get it out there, because I also feel like that's going to be another way for us to reel our tribe in, you know, because we need now more than ever to get the word out. So please always share these videos if they resonate with you or if you feel pulled to. There's no stress. Also, I added some new things to my Amazon wish list. Spirit is having me keep it for now, no matter how I feel about that. So I'm going to leave that. So I'm going to keep adding things to that. And I think that's for more of like our international people too, that want to like send things our way, but they're not having me do a monetary thing yet. And I'm also working on doing something else with that. And for those of you who can use Venmo, I have Venmo. It is never ever a requirement, any of these things, but it is always appreciated. It helps keep the rhythm going and helps keep my life moving forward in the direction of light and spirit and health and healing. So anyway, with all that being said, all of my information is in the description box. If you'd like to work with me as well, send me an email. And until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much. Spirit loves you, and we'll see you at the next reading. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. Oh my gosh, I have so much to say right now. I'm seeing so many things. As I was setting up your altar, I was seeing so many things. And I thought I was taking it kind of lightly, that when I saw the Spirit Keeper of the North, I was thinking of Jon Snow. I mean, I was thinking of it, and I'm not laughing and like, let me just put it this way. This reading is about finding your symmetry. Like, where do you need to take action to get the balance back into your life? When I looked up, it was like time hung there, and it was 1 hour and 2 seconds, which is also the number 12 if you add it together. So if you were drawn to any of the other readings, 1 or 2, I'm feeling references from both of them right now. So, you know, if you were, if not, don't make it your story if it's not your story. But my beautiful reading 3, I love you so much. Like, I felt such a heaviness. I felt such a weight that I haven't felt in a while, and my whole body just got chills when I said that. The Spirit Keeper of the North. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch the Game of Thrones if you can stomach it. It's really hard. I had a hard time, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it. It was beautiful, but there was so much of it I could have done without. Way too much sex, way too much nudity, way too much killing. But I also understand that they were trying to prove a point, that this was a different world, this was war, you know, we're still living in that. And I'm just feeling this vibe like that some of you have given up. I feel this really strong vibe of like, you want to give up. And Spirit saying, you cannot give up. You cannot give up. You can't. And I'm here to remind you what a badass mofo you are, and how Jon Snow, who was like this illegitimate bastard, quote unquote, like that's like at the beginning of the story of Game of Thrones, it's all about this illegitimate child, Jon Snow. And the story is so deep. You know, I've actually been thinking about watching it again, but I was thinking it would actually be more fucking boss if I waited until the next thing's done, because now they're doing the prequel to the Game of Thrones. And I was like, I kind of want to like watch the prequel all together and then watch Game of Thrones again, you know? I think it'll be really cool. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I digress. But they brought it up for a reason. And I've had this deck for a very, very long time. And I've worked with this deck many, many times. And I've never seen this card like this. In fact, I'm not one to keep animal pelts around. Obviously, I'm a vegan. You know, I would never. But I was gifted this pelt, this piece of pelt with, it was like a spirit stick and it had a lavender on it by someone. And I always, from the time they gave it to me, I wanted to tear it apart. And I've never done something like that where someone gave me a gift of something that someone made and I wanted to dismantle it. And I kept it forever until finally I was like, I feel like that crystal doesn't belong to me. I feel like it needs to go to someone else. And I wanted to give this pelt away many, many times, and Spirit has always been like, no. And I pray over the pelt and I send it good energy, and but I rarely use it. It's rabbit. And rabbits in the medicine wheel and the Native American spirit medicine, one of their key words is fear. And it's interesting because we spoke of fear in reading 2. So I'm going to be posting a shorts that Spirit had me create. I've been waiting to post it for the longest, so I'm really excited to post it. But it's something I got from somebody else, and it was an acronym for fear, and really cool. Or fear is the acronym for this saying, and I feel like it needs to be everyone's new mantra. Like to get rid of that fear-based energy. So work with the rabbit spirit medicine. Another, if your mission, should you choose to accept it. Now I'm going to ask Spirit. I feel like we're going to go into the book, but I just want to confirm. Spirit, do we want to go into the book now? Do we want to go into the book yet? Okay. Do you want me to bring out the spirit medicine book from the rabbit spirit medicine? Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. There's some other stuff coming through. Okay. Let's clear our minds. I'm going to bring in some healing energy. Please close your eyes if it's safe to do so wherever you are. If you're doing a task, if you can honor yourself and this energy right now and take a moment to sit down, even if you have to pause the video and, take a minute to get yourself together. I call upon your higher self and my higher self. I call upon the healing energies of the universe. I call upon the Reiki spirit healing energy. I ask that you heal us from the inside out and the outside in of our mind, body, and soul. Thank you for balancing and clearing our chakras and our auric field of that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. We're bringing in the healing energy. Nice. We're bringing in the healing energy, and we're cleansing away all that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good. Thank you, Spirit. Back into the ether, back into light, back into love. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. You don't have to, but all you have to say is, I accept this healing energy. Just say it inside your head, outside. Take in some deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. That's how we're moving the energy. We're pulling in the healing light energy into our mind, body, and soul. Pushing out that dense energy that no longer belongs to us. I'm feeling a lot of heavyweight energy. Even though we're in the Lionsgate portal, this is a very dense time right now, you guys. The energy, that really dense, ugly energy trying to and it's interesting because little things have been coming up. Accept this healing. You can do it. Open your heart chakra. Thank you, Spirit, for balancing and clearing our heart chakra. Thank you for balancing and clearing all of our chakras right now of that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good on this healing journey. Cry if you need to cry. Speak your truth. Oh, I feel like somebody needs a good cry. Oh, I feel it in my body. It feels like poison. Let it out. Listen to some music, watch something, go for a walk, do something good for yourself. Do something healthy for yourself. Get out in nature. Go take a walk around the block. Go for a cry. Who cares if people see you? Do what you need to do. Let it go. Release and let go. Also, I'm being called, thank you, Uriel. Uriel is the archangel of the north of grounding of earth energy. Our Southern Hemisphere family is in winter right now. They're in the thick of winter. And in the Northern Hemisphere, some of you are in the, you wish you were in winter, right? You're like, oh, I want that cold energy. Be careful what you wish for, they said. And that goes for everything, you guys. That goes for everything. No longer can we just live in that lighthearted. We're back in the magical energy of what we think, what we speak, and what we say come into being. Abracadabra. Abracadabra. And so it is. Speak with truth and light and love in your heart. You're the spirit keeper of the north. Grounding energy. You may even be an earth sign. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. You may have them heavy in your chart. Ooh, listen to the wind chimes. They're clearing away that energy. They said, bring the fairy light back in. I feel like for some of you, they're like, bring that like laughter, play. I'm going somewhere tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going, but I had to ask Alder like to set aside a day for us. I was like, can we please like do something that's not just like getting chores done? I'm like, and not just like a drive to get chores done. I'm like, but actually where we have a destination to go do something fun, go be somewhere in nature. And they were like, yeah, so I'm super excited. So do the same. Have fun, be playful. I'm actually excited because we're going to do something playful and then we're going to do something in nature. So I'm really excited about that. So do something that'll ground your nature. Ooh, I was going to say something that will keep you grounded in nature, but you heard it here. Oh, and I looked up, it literally went from 110 to like 110, you know what I mean? I saw ones across the board. So, ones and zeros. So 10, 10, 10, you know, like I'm feeling a new beginnings, right? Like it's about endings and new beginnings. So now they're saying it's time to go to the card, the spirit keeper. I feel like you guys may be, and also for those of you who are drawn to reading one, that fire energy, I highly recommend you go check it out, because when I opened the book, I saw spirit keeper of the south, and south is fire energy. Also, call on Archangel Michael for protection while you're trying to get out of this fear bubble and step into who you really are. You know, Chiron is in retrograde to remind us how fucking awesome we are. You know, soulful evolution. She's really been coming through lately. I feel like she's been such a great teacher to me as well, and showing us that, you know, these retrogrades are our friends. They're not our enemies. You know, the astrology is our friend. It's not our enemy. It's only our ego that perceives astrology as our enemy. It's only the ego that thinks that it knows better. I'm not going to do this to ingest fear, but I'm just going to tell you something that came through for me, a fear thing that I've obviously have to work with. There was a massive earthquake, as a lot of you know, on the coast of Russia that affected Japan and the Pacific Northwest. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Last night, as I was going to sleep, I stumbled upon this video, and it was a shorts, thank God, because I probably would have been glued to it if it was a full documentary. It probably is, but I just like saw that and I'm like, okay, I need to look at something else before I like turn off my phone for the night and like go into my happy place before I go to sleep. But long story short, these scientists were so awesome about it, and they were like, it's not a matter of like if it's going to happen. They're like, we absolutely positively know scientifically that these tecton plates are moving, and they are, it's been going on for years. That's why we've had earthquakes for the last several decades and, you know, hundreds of years, and, you know, and they're predicting a big one. Well, where they're predicting that earthquake on the tectonic plate is like 2 hours from where I live. There's no way that won't affect me. So you bet your bippy, I wasn't scared, but I was like, holy shit, like, is this where I'm going to die? Is this where I'm going to, you know, after I literally just heard them say, these scientists were like, they're not going to, you know, it's like, basically you just need to be aware of that. Like, to just know that it's going to happen. Tsunamis will happen and things will happen, but it doesn't need to be the end of life as we know it. It doesn't have to be, like, we will be able to rebuild, we will, whatever, but it's not gonna like tear the earth in half. And like, don't get all freaked out. Like, and honestly, it was interesting. I don't, if whether it was a bit or not, I felt very comforted from these scientists, because I think that there's something to that. And because I lived in Los Angeles and had earthquakes all the time, and I moved to LA after the really, really big one that like took down the freeways and like all that, and like it took so long for them to rebuild. I moved there in June of 95. Everybody thought I was crazy. But I remember one time my dad was like, no, I think that's actually really smart. Most likely, like all, like after all the tremors were gone and everything, and they were rebuilding, is when I moved there. And it was cool too, because I feel like the community of LA really was a different place. The people were different, and there was more of a camaraderie, right? That was it was fucking scary. A lot of people died. It was, and it's really interesting. My first husband, his father worked in advertising, so they traveled a lot for his work. And during the time from when he was born until he was around 12 years old, he lived on 3 different continents and lived in like 12 countries. And every country that he lived in was like a massive thing that happened. And I said to him, I go, don't you think that's kind of interesting that like in your short youth and those short years, like he was in Iran, his dad was working in Iran when they had to flee, and like his dad was put on a different plane than him and his, family, and you know what I mean? Ooh, I feel like I have to sneeze. I heard let it out. Maybe you guys have allergies. Maybe there's something going on with that. That's really interesting. But anyway, long story short, like I was watching something else about the earthquakes in Mexico City, and I said, were you guys living there when those happened? He's like, oh yeah. He's like, our housekeeper died, my bus driver died. He's like, 100,000 people died, honey. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, and you were in Iran? He's like, yeah. And he was going to school in London. His parents were very wealthy, and his father had a very high up job that paid for schools and paid for homes and all that kind of stuff. And so, he lived in a very, like the 1% basically. And if you like want to put it into perspective, and he was living in London when the IRA bombed King's College, or wherever school he went to. I forgot the schools he went to. He went to the same schools that the princes did. Let's put it that way. So just crazy shit. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm like, that's incredible. I go, don't you think that's kind of incredible that you lived in those places when those things happened? And now it's like, those kind of things are happening everywhere all the time. Like we're seeing that, like, they're not as few, you know what I mean? Like, but then again, who knows? Because the news only covered certain things back then, and, but I digress. So there's definitely fear bombs being placed everywhere. And Gaia wants us to know that all she's doing is setting shit straight. She's like, keep fucking with me and see what happens. Because those of us that are in the light, and those of us who, that's why they've been, it's kind of interesting, because I'm feeling like a Noah's Ark moment, but I kind of feel like it's going to be something like that, where when things happen, we're just going to be blessed to be in a place where it's safe. Or if something happens, we're going to be okay, and if anything, that makes sense, because Alder and I are super fucking cool under pressure, and we know how to live off grid, and like we know how to like have support. And we've both been in situations, and singularly and together, where like something will happen and we like just we act. We don't react and freak out. We don't let fear override us. And Spirit wants you to know that you're the same way, that you are wired. Your soul DNA is wired to be the spirit keeper of the North, to be grounded, to be like that North Star for people. You were born for this. So get out of the fear bubble. If you're feeling unbalanced, you're watching too much TV or seeing too many things or getting too absorbed with things or taking on, especially with the empaths, it's been coming up a lot. You're probably taking on too much of people's shit. I don't care, you know, where. When you leave your home and you go out into other places and you come home, smudge yourself in your car, smudge yourself at home, you know, but always do things in a safe way, especially if you're dealing with fire, right? But when I saw this, I felt like the fur, and look at it, it's in the north, like it's winter time, it's a full moon. So a lot of shit's going to happen. A lot of shit's going to take place over the next 6 months, you guys. And Spirit has been telling us this for a while now. We're now at the second half, because let's put it this way. Baba, my beautiful familiar, she passed away 6 months ago to the day today, but to the date, it was 6 months ago yesterday, and they had me relaunch and revive her channel, which I'm putting a link below. Please check it out. It's gonna be so much fun. We totally revived it. It's awesome. Bubba's already we're already like, yeah, it's awesome. So there's gonna be a link. Maybe some of you are already still subscribed to her, but there's also gonna be a link in the description box to check it out. But anyway, Spirit is like, Baba doesn't want us to forget how fucking strong we are, how powerful we are. And also, you're the only reading that the flame wanted to come in this way. And this feels like a fire pit. And it feels like you're camping outside. And I feel like they wanted me to bring the real fire in, because I could just as easily have like put a, you know, a little candle right here, but they didn't have me do that. But I feel like what they're trying to show us is that, you know, when Baba came to me 13 years ago, she came to me in the year of the dragon. And then she told me last year that she was going to leave me in the year of the dragon. And I was like, holy shit. So when the year of the dragon came in at the end of January, I thought, like, I was like getting ready for it. I was like holding a vigil for her, like thinking, you know, whatever. And then I was like, oh, maybe not. Our actual anniversary was right around, right after Valentine's Day. So I was like, oh, she's going to hang on till exactly 13 years, you know, and, you know, because 13 is such a vital number for us and blah, blah, blah. No, she died on January 31st. So it was kind of interesting because she was still, like, the dragons were still here technically, right? Because it takes a minute for like the energies to like cross over. But the dragons came in, I think, on Tuesday night or Wednesday night, or left, whatever, the year the snake came in. But you could still feel the snake and the dragons. It was really powerful. And then Baba drifted off at 7:02 on Friday, January 31st, which 31 is the mirror of 13, which is the number of the witch. And, you know, I was born on December 13th. So it was really powerful for me and for her. And not only that, but she told me to look at the clock when she died, and she died at 7:02 p.m. You guys, I was born at 7:02 a.m. When I looked up, it was 1:21:22, in case that means anything to anybody. It also comes out to the number 10. So, I think. Anyway, but you hear what I'm saying? It's like there are no accidents. Like, look at the magic. See the magic of it. Don't look away from it. But this winter, and at least it'll be winter for the Northern Hemisphere and summer for the Southern Hemisphere, well, we're going to see. And Spirit's like, hold that faith, hold that faith, hold that light, because honestly, things are changing. And there's going to be some massive changes over the next 6 months, because when the year of the snake is leaving and crossing over, the year of the horse is going to come charging in. So remember that the year of the snake is about rebirth and transformation and change. So is reading 1, by the way. That was the theme. And horses are about freedom. Don't underestimate the power of the people. I started watching this thing with Kamala Harris. She was on Stephen Colbert. It was so powerful, you guys. I didn't finish watching it, but if they call me to, I will put it below. She was there to promote her book, and he was like really pushing her about, you know, running for California governor and all this stuff, and how everybody wants her to run for California governor. And I don't want to give too much away, but I'll tell you what, there was one moment where I was like, what? But then she like came back the way she does. And she's like, basically she was cryptic. And I could tell she was just like, you guys keep fighting. She's like, I'm going out there and I'm going to fight and we're going to fight together, you know? And I was like, holy shit, like some major stuff. So please keep the divine feminine energy, the love, the sacred space, and the heart chakra open. Work with all facets of the spirit animal of the rabbit, the bunny rabbit, because all spirit animals, just like ourselves, and all teachings have a light and a shadow. And rabbits are actually very fucking strong. And they're fighters. But the reason why their keyword is fear is because they are the number one food. They are food for the flyers. They are food on the ground. There's kind of nowhere for them to escape. And in some places, even, you know, like in the trees, you know, you got the like snakes that can be on the ground around it. It's like, man, you know, like, so rabbits are really powerful. And there's all different forms of rabbits too. You know, the jackrabbit's a badass mofo. They kind of remind me of the kangaroo of rabbits, you know, so I feel like Down Under's coming up a lot. So I feel like there's a lot for you to work with. There's a lot of homework here. So let's see what, we haven't even gotten to your card. I mean, look at how powerful you are. I just realized, I'm like, we haven't even read yours yet. Because they had me read some of the other stuff, because you're so powerful and you have so much to say, and they want you to walk with pride and not like, they want with the pride of the lion, like as like the leader, not the ego, right? Because the shadow side of Leo is the ego. But Leos are also great lovers of life and fun and exploring and just being free and being themselves and being the center of attention. So let's see what this has to say. It says, Spirit Keeper of the North, take time for contemplation, turn within, connect with your ancestors, incubate ideas, mend relationships, watch your dreams, meditate. The answers are inside you, waiting to be heard. So stay warm, create dreams for your future, repair whatever is broken in your home and your life, forgive those people and situations that you've been dragging around for a while. Remember, time to declutter. Your native spirit wants you to know that in the medicine wheel, the north is the direction that symbolizes the darkest time of night, the coldest part of winter, the dark of the moon. Oh, and I just saw winter solstice, you guys. Winter solstice, that's what they were trying to show me. So they said we can come back to this. So I didn't want to say this in our healing meditation, but or download, whatever that was. But you guys, every time spirit draws me to look at something like Stephen Colbert or a report on the ridiculousness of the American president and his opulence and whatever, every time I see those things, there's always a reason for it. And that's what they want you to remember. I saw the emperor in his new clothes. Do you guys remember that? Where he'll believe anything. You know, this guy's like, this is magic fabric. He's like everybody else. And I remember, and he fools the king. It's like, that's kind of the energy that we're dealing with here. I mean, the fact that like the ignorance of a leader of a country that would take money away from its people that need it the most, to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to build basically a ballroom and over the top, and he's like, oh, it's my money, it's other people's money. Okay. I mean, how do we know for sure? You know what I mean? How do we know for sure? We don't. But it's like those kind of things, like when they come into my orbit, those are the things that people are going to really start to get upset about. Because even if you and your neighbor don't get along, even if you and your neighbor, if they're like a pro, you know, American president energy, right? And like this MAGA and this like, you know, it's just like this grotesque opulence of power and greed and control. If your neighbor was living on a fixed income and you found out that they were going to lose a significant amount of money because of what this person that they put into office did to them, would you laugh or would you pray for them? I pretty much know the answer. We'd pray for them. We would send them love. But you know what else that does? That pisses people off. That upsets people. Because they're, you know what? I pay taxes too. And I may not like them, and I may not like their politics, but fuck, I mean, they're like 85 years old. How are they supposed to, like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? People will rally. And Kamala said that last night. She said, what I have seen traveling the world as the vice president, traveling, you know, like, she's like, this is bigger than being a president. She's like, this is about showing people the truth and not feeding them this bait and switch lie bullshit. So hold faith that there are people who are walking this planet right now that genuinely want others to thrive, that genuinely want others to love. Yes, she wrote a book. Why shouldn't she? It's called 107 Days. She had the shortest run for office in American history. She was, I mean, there's just so many things where, like, I mean, it was interesting because Stephen Colbert would ask her questions. She's like, it's in the book. She's like, it's in the book. She's like, it's in the book. And I was like, good for her. Because she's like, I'm going to make mine too. Because the truth is, you need a lot of money to do that kind of stuff. So either you have people who help you, or you write your story and you sell a book about it. This is what happened to her. This is her life. This is her experience. Fuck yeah. Same for you. You know, maybe this is a wink, wink from spirit, like, you know, to find you, like, what, when you look at your future and you look at your present, what does it look like? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how small a pinhole it may feel at this time? Or are you like, ha ha ha, they got what they deserve? If you're in the they got what they deserve, you're sitting with your ego. You need to work with that shadow energy. This isn't a shame session. This is just telling you, like, you got to work with that. It's not a fun one. It's not a fun one. There's some things in this life that we have to do that are not fun. And there are other things that are wonderful and fun. Spirit is trying to show us that we can have the life that we want. Whatever your soul is craving is what is in your destiny. Otherwise, you wouldn't crave it so badly. Now, if you're craving a person, place, or thing that's not good for you, like, meaning like you feel like you have to ask yourself, why are you still there? What lesson haven't you acknowledged or accepted into your heart to see and look at and work with and grow? Take it one step, one breath, one moment at a time. Spirit has been saying this to us for a while. I'm going through similar things. Love yourself so that you can love others. So this says, I'm going to read this again. Your native spirit wants you to know, in the medicine wheel, the north is the direction that symbolizes the darkest time of night, the coldest part of winter, the dark of the moon. And this is what I'm getting. They're saying of our soul. And we're in the first quarter moon, right? Where do we take action? How do we bring balance back into our lives? It also represents the elder time of life and even a time of endings. Pulling the spirit keeper of the north indicates that it's time to take measure of your life. Explore what's working and what's not working. What and whom do you need to release? It's also the time to make repairs in your physical environment, as well as make repairs to your body. Additionally, this is the time to begin to dream and make plans regarding your future. Your ancestors are close at this time. Call on them. They want to help you. And it says, if you live in the southern hemisphere and draw this card, read Spirit Keeper of the South instead, for the meanings are reversed. Which is interesting, right? Because I spoke about that in the fire. So yay, that's perfect. It was meant to be. The journey of this card says, stand outdoors at night, facing north, inhale the darkness, sink into your own depth. In the stillness, ancient wisdom emerges. And the journey of the Keeper of the South says, stand facing south during the midday. Close your eyes and feel the warmth of the sun opening your heart center. Absorb the sunlight as you sense yourself absorbing the abundance of the universe. Okay, so this is from the Spirit Keeper of the South. And I'll put that there if you want to try and take a screenshot. Or if you want to get a screenshot. Okay. I feel like I'm going to take that for you too. Okay. And then the Spirit Keeper of the South is on the bottom. So I'm going to have to lift this up and try and hold it as steady as I can. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll put it on my crystal. That'll help stabilize it. There we go. So there we go. So this is for the Spirit Keeper of the North. Okay. Let's see if we have any more. Ooh, I kind of like that there. You know, the greatest part about that is that's an amethyst. And amethyst is the most powerful crystal to help us overcome addictions. And you may be having something like that. You may have food addiction, a person addiction. It could be anything. It could be, you may have OCD. You know, I was watching something one time with my partner, and I think it was What About Bob? And they were like, oh my gosh, look at that. They have to like do that, or they have to shut the door. And recently I watched As Good As It Gets again. Oh, such a great movie. And just how he has to walk over the cracks in the sidewalk and all that. Like that's somehow, that's an addiction, right? Like OCD, that's an addiction to like some type of comfort, you know. And again, this isn't a bashing. This is Spirit saying like, you know, you have to ask yourself like, what's really going on? And get to the root of the issue, because most of the time it's not the doorknob 5 times you have to touch it before you leave the house. It's not the I'm never going to eat this again, and then you indulge and then you hate yourself for it. You know what I mean? It's like it's so big and above beyond that. And I don't even use the word hate very often. So that was very, I feel like some of you are going through some type of hate spiral, and Spirit's saying, please get out of it. I'll tell you what, I go through my stuff with my addiction still, but I don't really call them addictions. I look at them as, okay, if this is happening, what's going on? What do I need to go further into? What do I have to see deeper? I mean, I've been so proud of myself that I haven't cried over Baba in like, I don't know, several days. Like, you know, because every so often I'll see something, whatever, and and if I start to cry, I'll be like, no, I'm okay. But when we started rebuilding and reviving her YouTube channel, I was just crying so fucking hard, because I was looking at everything now as grounded as I am now. You know, I'm like, why didn't I do this, or why? And I was like, well, my whole world was falling apart. My marriage was disintegrating. My mother was dying. My familiar was dying. You know, I was like, give myself a fucking break. Goodness gracious, you know. So the same for you. If you're going through some heavy stuff and you're releasing and letting things go, allow it to happen. You know, I was gonna bring the words into focus, and they said no, like Spirit keeps, it just says Spirit Keeper, and that's how I feel like you guys are feeling. You know, like I feel like Spirit's like, work on you, heal you, like you're the amethyst, like you're always going to be the Spirit Keeper, you're always going to be this, you were brought here to be this energy, you were brought here to be this healer. But at the same time, you're no good for anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself. You know, as RuPaul always says, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? And if you don't love yourself, then you can't take care of yourself. Drink some water, stay hydrated. I want to see if we have any more cards. Oh, this one, literally, I went to pick up the stack and the whole stack was picked up except for this one. Oh, Sweat Lodge. I had a feeling this was going to happen. So for some of you who were drawn to reading 2, you may want to go check that out. It was very powerful. They were all very good. I mean, honestly, if you're drawn to all of them, watch all of them, because I kind of feel like you'll get something from all of them. But just remember that this is a very specific reading. So don't make the whole reading your reading. There might just be like one. Honestly, sometimes I'll watch a reading and I'm like, Spirit will draw me to watch a reading, and I don't even realize I'm not paying attention to it until, especially like if I'm cleaning and I have it on in the background or something, until like I'll hear them say something and I'm like, what did she say? You know, and then I realize like that's my medicine. And then I'll be listening for a little while again, and still thinking of the thought, because I'm like, oh wow, that was really profound. And I'll be like, oh, that makes so much sense, you know. And then like it starts to go back into like the, you know, the Charlie Brown Peanuts thing, when it's like wah 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 wah. It's almost like I don't hear them. And then I'll check with my pendulum. I'm like, do I need to hear any more of this? Or like, no. And sometimes it really is just one word or one sentence. So You know, if you don't feel like you're meant to hear anymore or see anymore or whatever, then no. Do we have any more messages for reading 3 in this deck right now, Spirit? No. Okay. And do we have any more channeled messages for reading 3? Reading 3. Did I say reading 3 or did I say reading 1? And do we have any more messages for reading 3 in this deck? Oh, shit. I'm like, because I said, I'm like, did I say reading 3 or reading? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Ancient Forest just fell out. All the rest of them were fine, but this was the only one that was flipped up. So this has been coming up for a lot. This came up in all 3 readings. I mean, it's about nature. And that's why you're feeling off kilter, a lot of you, because you're not yourself. You're not feeling like your spirit keeper. You're meant to live in the forest. You're meant to live in the woods. I've been going through a lot of my own change and transformation over the last several, you know, the whole summer, basically. I've been going through some major stuff. And oh, I was like, do you want me to move this? I kind of feel like they want me to move this out of the way. Okay. There we go. And long story short, I realized that sometimes we really do, like, it's not lying to ourselves. It's just that we will take something on from something we haven't healed, whether it's in this lifetime or another lifetime in another avatar. So you know, you may feel like I'm healed or like I'm good, and then like things just start beating the crap out of you. A lot of times if you check astrology, you'll probably be like, oh, yep, that's exactly what's going on in my world right now. Yep, that's my signs in that sign, and yep, that makes sense. And oh, that's in retrograde. Okay, you know, I'm just hearing from Spirit for us to take more accountability and responsibility for our path by looking at our own personal roadmap, which is our birth chart. And it's there for a reason, and astrologers are there to help guide us for a reason. So I'm hearing for some of you, you know, we can tell ourselves anything. And basically what I was leading to is that I had told myself all these different stories over the last several months since Baba passed. And then since Leo season came in, which makes sense, I'm triple fire, my 3rd deacon's Leo, and the Lionsgate portal and all that. It just makes sense why I'm having so many epiphanies and so many breakthroughs, which is also why they have me share so much of my stuff, and why like my podcast profits have been a little more intimate and talking more about intimacy and love and things like of those nature, because those are what we need right now, is our heart chakra and being connected to Gaia. Gaia needs us now more than ever. She needs us to watch after her and protect her and all of those good things, because, you know, I was watching this thing about plastics and what they really do, and how they've always known that, and how some companies, why they stuck to glass and wouldn't go to plastic, because they were like, no, it's not good for you. I'm not gonna do that. Or like, did you know that aluminum cans are lined with plastic? Did you know that? A lot of people don't know that. Most aluminum cans are lined with plastic, and especially, I don't want to say most, but especially like beverages like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and like those kind of companies. Yep. Watch some documentaries on that stuff. So, and those, think about this for a second. If you can pour a Coke, not a Diet Coke, but a full Coke, if you can pour a Coke onto an engine and clean it, and it's true, it really does work. Imagine how much plastic is eroding into your drink that you're drinking into your body. These monsters of these huge companies have known these things for years. The thing that's crazy though to me, is that people like the American president, like apparently like all they drink is Diet Coke or something like that. And I thought, well, they've got to know that they do that. You know what I mean? So it's like when they wonder why, you know, I don't know. It's just so, there's just so many weird things are happening right now. Things that like our logic, whether it's our soul knowledge logic or our human brain, like, you know, solving problems logic is like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like that's what this all is about. A lot of shit's about to be really uncovered. So don't look at anything with fear anymore. Think about this for a second. You were created, right? So whatever created you is behind all of the good that's coming back. The shadow is part of us, right? We come from the creator. We co-created the shadow. We co-created the sitting American president. You know what I mean? Like our ancestors, we co-created that. We allowed that. We fought back when we could, but then we were, I mean, that's why wars have been happening forever. It's never ever been political or religious. It's always been a spiritual war. It's always been about the light and the shadow. And the shadow just found ways to cheat. And the more they cheated, the more shadow they got. The less they used the light, the more powerful they became. And now we're realizing that we are the true spirit keepers. We are the true, and as empaths, Carl Jung, a lot of videos from Carl Jung have been surfacing about the empaths and the power of the empath, but how they've been trying to tell us, no, stay away, stay secluded, or no, blah, 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 instead of empowering us to, meditate and get grounded and solid so that we can go out into the world and bring our light. Then we come back home, we recharge, and then we go back out and do it again. It's like we have to think of our soul and our light being the spirit keepers. We're the light keepers. We're the push pins all over the world. Our tribe, we're all over the world. So we have to remember that we were put here and we were placed here for purpose. Everything has a purpose. So does the shadow. So does the gross stuff, right? It's like, how could you even think if you, and some people are saying, well, if he raises the money, like if he wants to, bring the opulence to the White House, why shouldn't we? All these other, countries have these beautiful castles and blah, blah. It's like, yes, exactly. Because that was like the dark ages when the people were poor and the rich, you were royalty or part of the royalty, or you were pretty much poor, or you were a farmer who was just trying to make it happen in the middle class. But they don't want a middle class. They want poor and rich. They don't want any in between. That's how they've controlled for so many centuries. They've been destroying the middle class for decades now, and they've been doing it through all these different ways, but mostly through healthcare and killing us through our food supply and our water supply. I'm telling you, this isn't a joke. This isn't a conspiracy theory movie. This is the truth, and you see it and you know it. So use that energy. My eye just twitched, my right eye. There's somebody in our tribe that's having an eye twitch, like you're over, this is stressing you out. Well, don't let it stress you out. Give it to spirit. Say, I trust you, spirit. I believe in magic and miracles. I have faith. I know you got my back. I know you got our back, spirit. I know we're good. Keep saying those things. And also, if you're saying that, it's because you're not connected to nature and you're not connected to spirit. Do we want to read the Ancient Forest card? No, and for some of you, if you have the luxury to live near an ancient forest, it's time for you to go. I know tomorrow, I'm going on some type of adventure tomorrow. I don't know exactly where or how or why, but I know I am, and I'm so excited. So do yourself a favor and do the same. All right? All right, you guys, those are your messages. Do we have any more messages for them from the book, channeled, or otherwise, anything at all? Okay. So like I said, Bubba's channel's revived. They don't have me having a link on this channel or Lula's Labyrinth right now. They had me take them off before, and I still don't have a charger for my laptop, but I am slowly but surely building a wish list on my Amazon account, on my Amazon wish list that's more than cards. So if you're somebody who's like, I want to really help you out, Lula, but I live in another country, I don't have Venmo, I can't send you money, then you can do it that way. Otherwise, prayer is free, and I say this all the time. It's about the exchange of energy, though, for you and me. It's the same for myself. Every time I go out into the world or I seek out guidance from spirit, I always say thank you and send a prayer their way. It's the most beautiful and the most powerful form of currency in the world. Okay, so yeah, so Bubba's back up and running, and there's a lot of dark humor, but there's also going to be some cool lessons, and I'm very excited to see what direction that channel is going to go in. And yeah, so that's it. Oh, and also if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can email me. All of my information is in the description box and on this channel. And I'm working on something with spirit I think I might do an Etsy again, and where you can purchase a reading through Etsy, and then we can decide how we're going to go from there, kind of thing. I think people would feel more comfortable that way. I was trying to do it through my Venmo, but I think Etsy's better because it's international, and It'll just be a way, I think. If it's not Etsy, it's either something else I'm unaware of and it's like Etsy, but I'm working on it. But Spirit just hasn't had me put that together yet. And for those of you who don't know, every Sunday live at noon on this channel, Pacific Standard Time, we have Sacred Sunday where we celebrate Spirit. Last Sunday was a little rough, but thank you so much to Jessica for holding space for me while I was working through a lot of stuff. You know, sometimes Sacred Sunday isn't just about, you know, you guys, it's like it's for me too, you know, even though hold on, there's a little ant. And for those of you have been getting a lot of stuff for ant spirit medicine, I was just recognizing today that I haven't seen any in a while because I redid some, you know, stuff in my house and put a lot of essential oils out, and now I just saw one. So I feel like if you've, and a lot of the readings in the last several months, we've been getting the ant spirit medicine, and not just because of it's summertime, blah, blah, blah. So if this, either you know the medicine and spirit's reminding you of it, or you haven't looked it up yet and you're meant to work with it. So the spirit animals for this reading are rabbit and ant. Okay, is that it, Spirit? Do we have anything else? Let me see if they have anything else they want to say. Just take time for yourself and make sure to go check out those other readings if you are drawn to them. And also stay tuned for this Sacred Sunday. Is going to be really powerful. Whenever you watch this, they're always timeless, of course, but in real time, this Sacred Sunday is going to be the 13th episode of Sacred Sunday. So I'm super excited to see where it goes. And it's also the last Sunday before the Lionsgate portal. So that's going to be powerful. And then the following week we have the Lionsgate portal on the Friday the 8th, and then the next day on the 9th is the full moon in Aquarius, and then we have another Sacred Sunday, which is episode 14, which is also the number 5, about change and transformation. But this one's really exciting. I feel like this Sacred Sunday is going to be important because it's number 13, but it also comes out to the number 4 about stability and about balance. And since this first quarter moon energy, I feel like there are no such thing as accidents. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Until next time, please take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you. Spirit loves you. We'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, love you. Bye.